All right, guys, here we go. So, this is the FIDE World Chess Championship 2021, right? This is round 3, or game 3, in fact. Game 3, so Jan and Magnus. Okay, so we checking it out. So far, everything is all good, all tied up, right? As you already know what the score is the round is literally hours from right now, 9:46 Eastern Time on November 29th. So tomorrow will be the next game. It's 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time, my way, over where I am. So E4, E5, Knight F3. We're gonna look at the schedule too as well. Knight C6, Bishop B5 from Jan, and A6, and we go back into another Roy here. Right, very, very, solid stuff. He's playing good chess, in fact, and Jan's drawing, draw, right? And he's playing the classical opening stuff. The Roy is extremely classical, obviously. Playing a World Championship chess it's the best thing against E5, best by test in a way, is the Roy. So Bishop A4, Knight F6, castles, and Bishop E7. All regular Roy here, guys. This is all regular Roy stuff, right? Rook E1, B5. Okay, Bishop B3. Castles, A4. And then he hits A4, hitting the B5 pawn. Right, Bishop to B7, defends the rook. I mean, there's really, like, honestly, I think they said in here, this was like for a very accurate game, number 1. If you saw the articles, if y'all was watching press conferences and everything in here, they did say that this was the most accurate game ever in human world championship play. The Cine pawn loss was like 2 for Magnus and 3 for Jan the whole game. And this was a pretty boring game, to say the least. I'm sure you've already seen it. If you haven't, you can see it right here, right now. After Bishop B7, D3, pretty solid Roy. The Roy Lopez is so rich in ideas and plans and things that can happen. I mean, this could go 20 different ways. Let's turn the lines off. We can go 20 different ways here. So after D3, Black plays the D6 move. Right, very solid stuff. You still could play, I think some of the lines are with B4. Also, maybe capture. I remember Knight A5 being some stuff as well. So slow play. Rook E8 is what he opted for. You can play G6, Bishop G7. Go around this way, King's Indian style many times as well. Right. Cine pawn loss is basically how good they are, basically, but it's a way to show accuracy. Melting upward. Thanks for the follow. SCC way better. Okay, 40. All right, 40. Rookie 8. No, it's fun, though. It's fun watching SEC, though. Speech at Championship is fire. Rookie 8, Knight F1. This is all standard play. Again, flipping it from white side for the Roy players. This is what you do in the Roy 90% of the time. Right, this A4 stuff you can play. You can also play C3 and opt for the very classical Roy with H3 and Bishop C2. Put the knight on G3. Or E3 with flexibility. The D4 option is there as well. A4 is a little bit different because you haven't played C3. So knight A5, you have to back up if you want to keep it a lot of times. Or you give it up, but I'm not a fan of giving it up. So I'm a fan of the C3 ones. But it's just very classical. Jan went for a little bit different, and I think he already done this as well. This has already happened. So knight F1, H6 from black. I'm not a fan of the black side here. Always because it'd be cramped. But here, Magnus just got an easy game. As you see here after H6, Bishop to D2. This is a very close game, to say the least. But also the Roy Lopez, what they call it, is the Spanish torture. Spanish torture. All right, that's another word for the Roy Lopez because of the maneuvers that it takes and the squeezing and the maneuvering. And on move 50, y'all still figuring out, oh, I didn't take a piece yet, and it's on move 50. Bishop D2, Bishop F8, moving out of the way. The knight did go to F1, and it rerouted to E3 instead of G3. I like the G3 option, but E3 is definitely different and can be played. Keeps an eye on D5 and F5 from Jan. Knight E3, right? Keeping an eye on the square. What does Magnus play? A super great move here. It's just beautiful. Knight E7, like, makes total sense. I control F5. You really don't want to go here. I mean, this is just gross looking. Like, look at this. I mean, come on now. This is gross. Like, you're gonna lose. This would be the first dub if he did this, right? This would be over. Knight D5, you can't go there, obviously. And I'm gonna break with D5 at the right moment. Maybe after a reroute, maybe immediately due to tactics. Because this is hanging. Knight takes C5. It could be captured. It could be captured. So you have to be careful. But Knight E7 is really good. Really good. Okay, so after knight e7, c4 happened, hitting b5. This is where it gets complicated. I mean, like, if you look at this position, chat, a lot of you solid players could get to potential positions like this, and then this is where it all starts to crumble, right? This is where it really starts to get very hard in chess with this b5 move. So Milan Aquatic, thanks for the follow. After this c4 move, hitting b5, you have to challenge. You have to do something about this. So he captured, and then after knight takes, he went back to c6 with the knight. Wow. Let me see. Well, first off, let's see what other moves are possible. I really would be considering knight to g6, but knight a5 is super annoying. That is a super annoying move. Wow, look at that. Look at that. You see this? Knight a5 is serious. It's hitting the bishop, which is super annoying, but I really want to go knight g6. A lot of times it's not about what you want to play, it's what you have to play. Knight g6 looks like I gotta get my knight out the way. I can't play d5 because this is hanging. And knight a5 is such a strong move, which makes sense why he played knight to c6. I mean, here's a quick example, like, you know, how does this feel? It's uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. It's hanging. Very uncomfortable. Is this game 3? Yeah, this is game 3, Milan. So he played knight c6 to stop knight a5. Rook to c1, and then plays a5. Right? Wait. Yeah, this is game 3. Because it feels like I'll say, wait, they played this, but no, this is game 3, guys. This is game 3. Scary, right? I'm like, wait, it feels like I'm looking at the same thing from last time. Hey, Canty, what's up, Josh? What's going on, bro? How you feel, man? Good to see you, Josh. Shout out to you. Is this a time zone thing? Yeah, yes, it is. Yeah. Okay, so bishop c3 happens after bishop c3, right? With some d4 action. Yeah, I remember this. Bishop c3. He's trying to play d4, which he did. He did play d4, and then after bishop c8. Oh yeah, this was cool with the bishops. That's nice. Game tomorrow should be exciting in the morning. Yeah, it's gonna be fire. Magnus with white is gonna try to press. Correct. Remember that, chat. Magnus with white is going to try and press. Right? I mean, for real. Like, believe it or not, Magnus gonna try to press. So y'all in for it tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, he's going to try to press. And he gets white. Oh, yeah. Magnus gets white for the next 2 of the 3 games, right? He gets white 2 out of the next 3 games. This could be huge. If he's able to strike, this match could be over. But we will see. I went from 385 to 412 rating at the tournament. Let's go, bro. Tomorrow gonna be fire. Yeah, make sure y'all get 7:30 in the morning Eastern. So look, all right. So let's see the rest of this. Right, that'll be sick. Wow, yeah, I'm about to be so hyped to watch. All right, so bishop c8 backing it up. After bishop c8 d4, I remember this break, and I think he was thinking here on the break, or maybe not. But I remember there was some thinking watching some of the analysis in the live video feed. The reason for the break is you have to, right? The bishops point this way. Let's actually see if the engine says, is there anything else? Maybe you can hold. A lot of times just keeping the tension is key, right? Maybe you can keep the tension for a little bit. Maybe, right? That doesn't mean like, but the engine says what? H3, strange. Yeah, I mean, it can happen. Stops bishop g4. Nice waiting move. Prevention of my opponent's ideas. A great strategy. But he played d4. Oh, let me turn this off. He takes d4. Knight takes d4, takes. And then after bishop e6, this is when he thought for a minute. And he played h3. And I remember, let's flip the board here. I remember looking at this position and thinking to myself, using some of the stuff that I've learned, like asking questions, using some of Jacob Agard's material, is h3 was a move that I was like, yeah, h3. But I just don't want to really play the move. But it's not the worst. It does prevent things from going to g4, right? And in a weird, crazy world, maybe even thrusting g4, g5. Not ever thinking about keeping and doing it really, but if it's there one day, maybe it is, right? H3, also some love for the king and maybe a rook lift. Maybe. I considered H3. Maybe some rook E3, right? This bishop is ridiculous. Like you don't want to get hit like this. Kind of loose. It feels weird. But from Black's point of view, pieces develop. This bishop should be better. It can be. Very quick G6, bishop G7 at the right moment. A D5 break would be ideal. And if we get this in, it's like almost completely equal. Besides the weak pawns that offset each other. These two are weak together. This is weak, but this is weak. So this could easily be drawn. Plus, I got the pressure on the B file. It's a lot of stuff to think about here. But Black objectively should just be completely fine. As you see, the evaluation bar says the same. Right. Nepo was visibly shocked by bishop c8 during the game. Wow, guys, check that link that Josh put in the chat. Wow, bishop c8 was visibly shocked. That's crazy here. And you know what? One of the things I like to ask in a position is actually what's the worst placed piece. And if you think about that question, you would actually say probably this bishop, but you could have more than one worst placed piece, right? This bishop is bad, but obviously it's going to take some time. Maybe you could play g6. Maybe really you could. And bishop c8 makes sense too as well. Let's actually see what the engine says here. Wow. And look at the #1 move on the engine, my guy. Like, look at the #1. Magnets don't play. This man don't play no games, dog. If you playing with this kind of guy in this kind of position, bishop c8 is the best move. By far. The best move. Bishop c8. Knight d7, that seems strange. I mean, it's really not. Knight c5 going here. And queen b8? That's crafty. That is crafty. That's some crafty stuff. But for him to find bishop c8 here, it's beautiful. Absolutely stunning. Something you can use even in your own games. Rerouting a piece that's literally doing nothing to a better diagonal. If not g4, then I'll go to e6. Makes total sense. Beautiful. So we get to this position. h3 happens and c6. Right, c6, he's going for d5. Yo, JB, John Bartholomew with the raid. Let's go, y'all. Hey, shout out to John JB, John Bartholomew. We looking at the Magnus and Jan game from yesterday. We just looking at the last key points here, and then we getting up out of here. Oh, actually, we doing the next video. We got more work to do. But John Bartholomew has great YouTube videos. John Bartholomew is the OG of YouTube. Okay, he been doing it for like the last 10 years. John Bartholomew was on YouTube. Look it up. I'm not lying. Thanks for the follow, Jay Season. PJness. What up? Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the raid, John. Hope you had a good one, man. Good holidays to you, man. Him and Jerry from Chess Network. That's right. Those are triple OGs. 100%. King Crusher, too. Yeah. Yeah, I remember them. And I am Chess Explained, right? I mean, we going back right now, bro. Like, who remember them days? Okay, so c6 here. C6 is what was played by Magnus here. Actually, after a think here, if you look at this, let's turn the engine off. So looking at this position is fire. The classic chess YouTubers, yes, Josh, the classic. What's up, NBC Olympics? This game here, there's a lot of things to think about. There's a lot to think about. It really is. That's why it's difficult here to find. But after he plays c6, it's so clear that, oh, he wants to play d5. Why was it so hard to see that move? And it was the #1 move. Let's actually see what the 2 and 3 is. I'm very interested. d5 immediately, and knight to d7, which is the move I actually was thinking of. I was thinking of knight d7. Because you want to kind of reroute. Yes, it looks scary, right? But the bishop defends g7. I want to maybe go knight to c5. Maybe rook to b8. Right, maybe queen f6, try to trade. Like even f6, that's gross. I am not trying to play f6, not today. Bruh. Yikes, that's a gross looking move. Gross looking move, right? But the knight, I mean, it's a terrible piece. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything. Pretty rough, which makes this, even worse too as well. Two bad pieces, like that's real bad, right? So he played c6 though. He's about to play d5 to break open the position. Pretty nice, maybe even getting rid of the weakness, or at least moving it from the c file, which is not necessary, but an option. c6, bishop to c2, and there it is. That boy broke it with d5 and said, we live. d5 and we live. Sheesh. And at this point, he knew, oh, I'm playing for 2 results, right? This is easy. Win or draw. I'm not losing this game. He felt fine here. In fact, I think he said in the post game, he was like, yeah, this is relaxed. It was like calm. It was fine. It was actually pretty good. Like he was good spirits about the game in the press conference. If you saw him, everything was good. He was like, "Yo, this is a wrap. Like, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about this. Like, you could smell it on him." After D5, E5 was played. No trading in the center. No trading in the center. It made it kind of complicated here. D takes C4. Queen takes. Right, we trade and trade. And then here you have to stop and look. Look at the pawn structure. The pawn structure is the skeleton of the game. So you have to understand what is going on. Okay, we got double pawns over here. These are weak. But this one's defending. We also have maybe rook to the file. Bishop to b4 is an option, maybe to hold the pawn. Something like that. Again, defending. This is kind of weak. You want to look at the whole position. What is going on? Pawn takes. It does damage the structure here. 3 versus 3 in a way, but the fourth here. I mean, it's back and forth. There's so much ridiculous stuff going on right now. But I like this move from Magnus playing bishop b4, just trying to clarify the situation. My piece is garbage, 100%. Garbage. And your piece looking real nice. So we need to get that boy off the board. Bishop b4, f takes g7, and he takes it. So now I got this option. Rook to the 7th, not something you want to be giving up. And also I can take on g7. I got this. Magnus is not losing, he says. He says, I got this. I'm the champ. Right. Are you rooting for either player to win? And if you had a chance, I mean, you always have to have your favorite, and my favorite's Magnus, right? To go for Magnus to win here. I enjoy style, absolutely. Of course, he's the world champ too as well. But Jan is no joke. Jan is. I gave the match percentages 55-45. Very close. Very close. 55-45 is what I'm giving it. 55%. Magnus way, 45 to Jan. B takes c3, king takes g7. And then king f1. I like this move, right? King f1 is saying get my king to the center. In games like this, remember we covered that actually on the YouTube channel about how the king is like worth 4, 4 points more and stuff like that in the in game. Shout out to you, yo. Casting is for betas. Let's go. Command 5. Command 5. 5 piece for my dog. Thanks for gifting 5 subs, bro. I always root for Magnus until Ali Reza wins the candidates. Yeah, Ali Reza is the problem right now. Ali Reza is the guy that's right behind him at 28 and trying to catch him. Right. Got a lot of time. So king f1. Right. King f1, you're getting the king to the center. And also black as well doing the same kind of thing. But rook 8 to b8, because this rook, I've done my job. The bishop, dark square, not on the board anymore. I'm going to play rook b8 and be straight. Rook to b1, right? Trying to trade. I don't want you to go rook b2 and get behind the pawn and really annoy me, which I could be losing at that point. And king f6, rook takes, trade, rook to b1. At this point, I mean, this is a super easy, ridiculously easy draw. And also black, not that we're pushing for more. I mean, you don't have any entry squares. Like, you can't enter this way, right? So you're not getting this way, but at least you're cutting his king off from trying to do the same. You're also in the center of the board. Really, there's no action over here. Everything's solid. You can't even attack this. You can't really attack this effectively. That's going to be defended. It's a draw, 100%. And my king's better than yours. I'm going to always stick around this square like this. The furthest that you can get with white is probably here. Maybe you have an f4, maybe. But if I get f4 in, which, watch this. What did he play? f5 and f4. So you can't even play f4. Magnus, I mean, literally just so good, right? Just ridiculous. Stopping any of your play before you even think about doing it. The Karpov style of playing, right? f4 and Petrosian 2, prophylactics. But bishop to b1. Bishop c2 or c5. And then bishop back to c2. And this is a draw. He just shuffled. They just shuffle back and forth. Shuffle back and forth. But again, what they say here, right? This was the greatest or the most accurate world championship game known to date. Especially with the engines, they said it was a 2 and a 3 centi pawn loss. 2 and a 3. Like they didn't miss anything. There was no advantage really for any side at any point in the game. You was at 2 and I was at 3. So that's crazy. It's nuts. Another draw, but now Magnus gets 2 whites, guys. And let's check out the schedule for anyone who wants to know. If you don't know, in fact, let me move. If I can move that over for you a little bit. There we go. So here, look, as you see today, or actually, sorry, the free day, November 29th, right here. I'll highlight it right here. November 29th is the free day, which we're on right now. There was no coverage. But tomorrow, November 30th, in fact, hours from now, 7, some of the players probably sleeping right now. They should be getting some sleep, of course, but who knows what they're doing and how they prepping. 4:30 in the morning, Los Angeles. If you are in the Eastern time, yes, 7:30, Josh. I know. 7:30 Eastern time, guys, in the morning. It will be on 12:30 London, and as you can see, corresponding wherever you are, you can see the timing right there. Make sure you guys on and catch the coverage in the morning, stuff like that. So yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Gonna be awesome. And what is it? Round 4? Yeah. So game 4 will be tomorrow.